How does IHL protect the environment during armed conflict? Have you ever thought about how war affects not just people, but also the environment? International Humanitarian Law, or IHL, plays a key role in protecting our natural surroundings during times of armed conflict. Let's break down how this law works to safeguard the environment while also protecting civilians. IHL, which includes the Geneva Conventions and the laws of armed conflict, aims to limit the damage caused by warfare. One of its main goals is to minimize harm to the natural environment. This is important because the environment is considered part of civilian property that deserves protection. At its core, IHL requires all parties involved in a conflict to respect and follow rules that protect the environment. Military operations must be planned carefully to avoid unnecessary damage. For instance, using weapons or tactics that are likely to cause widespread and long-lasting harm to the environment is strictly prohibited. This means that even if a military advantage is claimed, such harm cannot be justified. The principle of distinction is a key part of IHL. It states that the natural environment should be treated like civilian property. This includes forests, water sources, and energy facilities. These areas should not be targeted unless they are being used for military purposes. Even then, any attack must follow the principle of proportionality, ensuring that environmental damage is not excessive compared to the military gain. Another important principle is precaution. This requires all parties to take steps to avoid or minimize environmental harm during military actions. This could mean choosing weapons and tactics that have less impact on the environment. IHL also places obligations on states to create laws and measures that effectively implement these environmental protections. States must ensure that their armed forces and groups under their control do not violate these rules. They should also work to prevent violations by others. Practical examples of these protections include avoiding attacks on vital resources like water supplies and energy infrastructure. These resources are essential for civilian survival and maintaining environmental stability. Protecting the environment is closely linked to protecting civilians during war. Recently, there has been a growing awareness of the need to consider environmental damage that crosses borders. This means that the effects of armed conflict on the environment can extend beyond the immediate area of conflict. In summary, IHL protects the environment during armed conflict by treating it as civilian property under the principles of distinction, proportionality, and precaution. It prohibits methods of warfare that cause severe environmental damage and requires parties to respect environmental protection rules. By recognizing the environment's role in civilian life, IHL connects environmental protection to the safety of civilians. This approach helps limit the suffering of people and preserves the environment during times of war.